I find no issue with it because, I just got back from the state auditors conference and my jaw dropped because the average salary right now that all state auditors are paying is $50,000. I asked this, I said, what? Straight out of college, no experience, $50,000. Most of their management team are upwards of $100,000. And
but once that $50,000 salary
I
straight
have
out,
no qualms paying that. I think it's worth it.
the additional bonus on top of the increase that you're now getting because you managed to get through the legislature are concurrence that we're going to adopt the Kerry study. And for the office with the 10 employees that you have or whatever number you have, you need $60,000 for the certification or pay, or is that's in the event somebody else gets?
No, that's already funded. That's already funded. That's already in our That's if you turn to the schedule, we're talking $60,264 is the certification pay for 1, 2, 3, 6 individuals.
Okay. I have nothing further. We stand in recess until...
Mr. Speaker, if I just may say, you and I both are very passionate. And I'll miss this exchange. Thank you.
I will need an additional $70,000 just to pay for the certification pay for those on my staff that are qualified. It wasn't in my budget request because I didn't ask for it. But if this legislature is going to leave it in the budget, then I will have to comply and provide them with their certification adjustment, and that would cost the office an additional $70,000. So I just point that out. But I can't tell you how wonderful the 5 Auditor 3s that stepped up to take over the management team of the office has been, and how smoothly it has run since then. They've taken over, and I feel so bad that they can't get one. We can't reclassify 3 of them, 4 of them. I mean, because all promotions and increments were suspended during the fiscal year. So I can't do any reclassifications and give them increments as minuscule as it is by comparison. But it is the Office of Public Accountability, and we have to live within the law, and we will live within the law. And if it is provided to us, we'll provide it to them. If it's not, then we'll have to tell them that it's not going to be provided.
Mr. Ken, and we have Mr. Kinga. You both can come forward. If you want to do an oral testimony, you can come forward.
I'm Ken Leon Guerrero with the Guam Citizens for Public Accountability. I'm sitting here with a sense of deja vu because the last time I testified at a budget hearing was in 2016. Because this legislature is contemplating a budget that's very similar to the budget of Albuquerque, New Mexico. 565,000 people, and they have a budget that's 15 million, proposed budget, 15 million more than the budget being proposed here before the legislature. You see, this is the policy-making body. This is the check-writing body. But you're not acting as though you're the policymakers. You're not acting as though you're physically responsible people.
Thank you, Ken. Mr. Ungar. This,
Half a day. Welcome to Candid. I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Troy Torres.
And it is October 5th, Saturday morning, a little past midnight.
This is our October 4th newscast.
We actually had some drama. A lady needed help outside tonight. So
we had to call the police.
Yeah. And that is the first easy police interview ever in my entire life.
I heard crying
Yeah.
from inside the production
She was
room.
bleeding and everything.
Oh, she was?
Yeah. Yeah.
shit.
And we even had guests here.
Oh, yeah. Thank you to our guests who are here. We love you very much.
Yeah, and that I left you some salmon and some mashed potatoes.
Oh, yeah?
It's so delicious. It's
From
from
where?
Red Lobster.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, delicious.
I'm starving.
And it's beans, green beans.
I've been working on a 90210 story all night.
902. Oh, okay. I get it.
Yeah, the characters.
Thank you for joining us. If you could share our page, if you can follow Candid, we are almost there to the 10,000 mark.
Yeah.
We also have a YouTube page, and that's Candid News Group, as well as our website, www.candidnews.com.
I need to pee, so can we take like a 1 minute break? Sorry, thanks. So we've been promoting Chai-Fee Jackson, who is one of the contestants in Little Mr. Guam, because our soul sister, Amy Jackson, is his mother. But there's also a bunch of little darlings who are running for Little Mr. and Little Miss Guam. It's part of Leah's fabulous productions. Over the years, Leah has been producing these pageants that have brought many people together and have showcased Guam throughout the world, and much congratulations to her. The pageant is on October 10, is that correct? At is it the Sheraton, if I'm not
Hold
mistaken?
on, let me make sure. Let me get it.
We have the thingy, right?
Yeah, but she posts a lot here. It is on Thursday, October 10, at the Sheraton Ocean Serena Ballroom. The tickets are $25. VIP is $50. And they can be purchased from any contestant or contact Leah's Fabulous Production at 486-3821.
And unlike parties thrown by Governor Lulian Guerrero, this one has an invitation to the public.
And this is to celebrate children.
And it's a great cause.
Yeah.
So Leah's Fabulous Productions, please support them. Show your love for all of these kids. If you know any of them or their families, show your love for them, and support this great cause. Let's get to the good stuff. Justin Alberto left the courthouse today as a victor against the temperamental and arbitrary ruse of a power-tripping cop. On August 23, Mr. Alberto was parked outside his son's elementary school while his wife went into the campus to wait for their son to exit his classroom. Their son has some special needs. If he sees his parents' car and no one is near him to stop him, he will dart over to the car despite traffic. On that day, Mr. Alberto noticed his son leaving his classroom when students were dismissed and his wife not too far away, but looking in the other direction. He honked his horn to get her attention so that she'd see the boy. As he entered the campus driveway, a Guam police officer by the name of Javen Cruz directed him to park, then issued him a traffic violation ticket, citing an obscure law against unnecessary noise caused by a car horn. Mr. Alberto tried telling the officer about the situation, but he issued the ticket anyway and told him to tell it to the judge. So this morning, Mr. Alberto told his story to Judge Maria Fitzpatrick. Her Honor wasn't even aware of this obscure law and told everyone in the courtroom that she does the same thing. He won his case. Justice exists. The Guam Police Department needs to start investing its time away from stupid cases like these that have wasted the Albertos and the judge's time, and work on cleaning itself from the inside out of the police corruption it's been ignoring and fueling for years. Back to you, Barbara.
Barbara P.D. Brown. A storm is brewing east of Guam and it's headed toward the Marianas. Invest 93W has been forming 1,242 nautical miles east of Guam. The direction of the winds and the warm sea surface temperature, according to information from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, are producing favorable conditions for the storm to strengthen and develop into a tropical cyclone. Global models agree that the storm will take a northwestward track, placing the Mariana Islands in the storm's path.
Now, we didn't write out the next story, but Eric did produce the video on it, and it is regarding Congressman Michael Nicholas's town hall meeting that he held at Government House tonight at, oh, I'm looking at the wrong camera. Tonight. See, I'm getting better not looking at that monitor, but now it screws me up because I'm not looking. Anyway, so he held a town hall meeting tonight at Government House. It was catered to veterans, but the public was invited, and it was a packed house. It started at 5:30. It's supposed to end at 7 p.m., but veterans were having a good time. And
it went on? It went past 7?
I'm not sure how long past 7 did it go, Chalu?
I figured.
I left right at 7.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it was still going on?
They were still talking.
So it was still
great.
going on
I
after
figured
7.
that.
Yeah, yeah. And so, well, one of the things that some veterans were saying online was that it's only 90 minutes, and they hope for like a second thing or something like that, because
Pick and
they have
choose,
a lot
pick
of
and choose, pick and choose.
they have a lot of issues to bring up to. Well, they had the chairman of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, members of the committee who were present there. The governor was there, inviting everyone to the house she doesn't live at. But you know what? Never mind what I have
They
to say.
worked together tonight.
Did
they?
I have no idea. Let's see. We have a 10-minute snippet of what was going on.
I want to also say how important it is to work with your representative, Congressman San Nicolas. I have, from the day one he hit the ground running in Washington, D.C., he has actually done something a little different than some representatives. He's actually gotten an appointment to an exclusive committee of the United States Congress, the Financial Services Committee. That's an amazing accomplishment. Yeah, that's a really big deal. When Ms. Brownlee and I, when Ms. Brownlee, thank you. When Ms. Brownlee and I came to Congress, we both we came with a very large class, as Mr. San Nicolas came with a very large class of members, and we can both attest to the fact that it's a very difficult committee to get on. And Ms. Brownlee reminded me that not only did he get an appointment to the committee, but Chairwoman Maxine Waters, who many of you might know, recognized his abilities and designate him to be the vice chairman of that committee. That's another remarkable accomplishment. As Ms. Radewagen has been made the vice-ranking member of the full Veterans Committee, as she is a member of the minority party, that is also a distinguished position. Let me say that working also with Marta Radewagen is a great pleasure. And there's no harder working member on the Veterans Affairs Committee, no one who cares more about veterans than Congresswoman Radewagen. So thank you for being a member of our... And my good friend, Mr. Sablan, is always that voice for the territories. He serves as the chairman of the Committee on Natural Resources, which is a key committee for the territories. And he has been a longtime member of the Veterans Affairs Committee, and he pushed me when I became the chairman. He said, you must do a congressional delegation trip to the islands. And he's been pushing forever to make sure that we give the islands the attention they're due. And listen, to underscore the importance of this trip, my colleague Julia Brownlee, who chairs the Health Subcommittee, it is the key subcommittee of the Veterans Affairs Committee. To have her here, I have to say, how busy she is, and she's also been appointed to the Select Committee on Climate Change. And there's so many intersectional issues between veterans and the climate change issues. The severity of the storms that affect islands, we have to reshape how we think about the VA's fourth mission, which is disaster preparedness. And she has been with me to Puerto Rico, another one of our territories. And so we want to convey with this session of Congress a renewed commitment to the welfare of the territories. So with that, I just wanted to again say half a day. I think Ms. Radewagen, I think you taught me how to say that, Ms. Radewagen. Even though it's Salofa, or Talofa, it's Talofa in Samoan. Talofa in Samoan. So I'm still learning. So thank you so much. What a wonderful welcome. What a wonderful turnout. No one can say there's no more patriotic people than the people of Guam. Thank you all for your service. Thank you, the spouses, the military spouses. And to those who served in the Vietnam War, I always say this. I say it 3 times. Welcome home, welcome home, welcome home.
All right, at this time we'll go ahead and open the town hall, and the first question comes from
Mr. Francis Torres.
Buenas enough today. My question is, you are here to recognize Guam as the regional hub. When are we going to see and be aware of that? If we are to be recognized as the regional hub in the Pacific, give us our own hospital. That naval hospital or the CBOC right now does not meet our needs. Thank you.
I'll respond very briefly. We did tour both facilities that you mentioned, the Naval Hospital as well as the CBOC. I have to say the contrast between the 2 facilities was stark. I saw the cramped conditions under which our providers are working at the CBOC, and also just the tremendous traffic of veterans who use that CBOC. I understand that they're looking to expand the footprint there. And we the members, at least I will speak for myself, feel that even with that expansion, that will be insufficient. I am committed to going back to Washington. The insight I took back is we must see, I think, better planning and better cooperation between the Veterans Affairs Department and the Department of Defense. I personally would also like to see us take into account all of the federal outlays, whether it's from the VA, whether it's from the Department of Defense, whether it's through Medicaid and Medicare, in terms of looking at our workforce needs, the specialists that you don't have on the island. So better planning needs to happen among all of the federally directed resources with regard to health care. So I hear your frustration. That beautiful new facility, the Naval Hospital, it is something that forces us from the VA side to look at expanding those, to improving and enhancing what we have.
No, also the Naval Hospital should be more expanded, and so we can help not only people, the veterans from Guam, but from other Micronesians, Yapese, Chukis, whoever served in the military.
So as far as the neighboring islands of the associated, the freely associated states, I did meet with emissaries from Micronesia in my office. They related to me the issue of veterans that have returned back to the islands and the need for transportation. That transportation is an inhibiting factor in those veterans accessing care. Veterans who deserve those benefits because they did serve and that they qualify for the VA. Also, I think members are very much aware of how much the United States of America and its relationship to the freely associated states and all our territories, that we have to show how that relationship is beneficial, especially as we look at, I think, the growing aggression and expansionism of China. That we have a national security argument for why we have to take care of the veterans much better.
I think this is an appropriate time for me to just really thank Chairman Takano and Chairwoman Brownlee and Congressman Sablan and Congresswoman Radawagan for being here. It's been a long time since the Veterans Affairs Committee has come to Guam, and I can say that the conversations I've been having with them are very genuine, and they're looking at everything with an eye for fairness. We were just up at the Naval Hospital looking at the CBOC. The first conversation we had was, why is it that you just walk across the street and you're living in two different worlds? And so the awareness is there with respect to our territorial status and the challenges that presents. I think that that's a political question that we all need to work towards. But as far as getting help for our veterans, it shouldn't matter if we're a territory or not. And I think that that's a sentiment that's shared with everybody at the table. We're going to take care of all of our veterans, and I'm sure that's a commitment that will be echoed by everybody here if given the opportunity. But I wanted to just thank the chairman and the chairwoman for making the time to be here, and the ranking vice chair, because making the time to be out here.
When Governor Lulian Guerrero gave away a government facility to a flailing company her friend runs, she also displaced the Department of Education Special Education Division and the Chamorro Language Commission. In a letter to Ms. Leon Guerrero today, DOE Superintendent John Fernandez told the governor, GDOE will move our special education offices out of the Building E by the end of the school year. For now, this office, which serves the island's most at-risk youth population, is facing homelessness. The governor kicked them out without ever working with anyone to find the division a suitable office location. The governor's decision to enter into a lease for Teason's Building E, which houses the Special Education Commission's Language Revitalization Center, directly with the Guahan Academy Charter School, was made abruptly and without consulting Mr. Fernandez or the Board of Education. Ms. Leon Guerrero sent a condescending letter to Mr. Fernandez after she released a letter to the media informing him of her decision. She never even mentioned the Language Commission. GACS is run by Ms. Leon Guerrero's close friend and ousted former Speaker Judy Wonpat. Borja? Or she's just a Wonpat. Yesterday, Candid learned that disgraced former George Washington High School principal Linda Hernandez Avila was hired by Dr. Wonpat to be the Dean of Secondary Students at GACS. Ms. Avila was removed from her post as GW principal in the wake of allegations against ROTC teacher Manjo Quintanilla, who has been accused of raping female students at the school. Ms. Avila was implicated in the cover-up. GACS has been the subject of looming operational ruin for years. The charter school is the only one using government facilities to operate, even after receiving substantial government subsidies year after year. The school, which is the oldest charter school in Guam, also has failed to secure accreditation. So much that the governor's commitment to public education or the Chamorro language. Donald Platt is being recognized.
You mean the perv protector?
The perv protector.
What's he being recognized for?
Prim, you have that? He is being recognized as the named professor of emeritus.
Oh, they're making him a lifetime professor. Oh,
yeah.
So the University of Guam. Wait a minute. That's Prosecutor Peter Santos.
Yeah. That's his Facebook.
Are they were they friends or something? Or
I'm not sure. I think he's sharing the good news.
Well, this is something because Don Platt, if you remember, we covered this story regarding Dr. Michael Ellert, the rapist. Dr. Don Platt was one of the chief people covering it up at the University of Guam.
Yeah, so did Robert Underwood.
Yeah, they were all together in it with Dr. Don Rubenstein, and this is disgusting.
Yeah.
They're honoring him?
They're honoring him.
You know, he was my history professor. He was a very good professor. But what he did into that in this alert case. And in what he's done for university politics throughout the years is really deplorable. But this is disgusting. UOG's honoring him, and he was part of the whole cover-up.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes. And it's our Peter J. Santos is actually a attorney.
They were the ones
At the AG's
deciding on the
office.
prosecution of this case, and they took forever to decide on
Yeah.
the prosecution of this case.
Yeah, he's a prosecutor.
I wonder if he was the prosecutor in the actual case. That would be something. Very interesting. Thanks for bringing this to our attention.
Yeah.
All right, our next story. Matthew Brian Duke apparently thinks it's okay to strangle a woman when he loses an argument to one. According to prosecutor Renita St. Nicholas's declaration of probable cause, on October 2, Mr. Duke and his girlfriend were arguing when he punched her face multiple times, then pinned her to the wall with his hand strangling her throat. She couldn't breathe for 15 seconds, according to information she gave to police who responded to court marshals who just happened to be serving a bench warrant to Mr. Duke at his home in Jonia, October 3. The marshals entered a room and noticed Mr. Duke's girlfriend had several physical injuries, including swelling to one cheek, a black eye, multiple cuts, and abrasion to her legs and neck area. The marshals called police to arrest Mr. Duke for his crimes against her. Mr. Duke admitted to police that he held his girlfriend by her throat against the wall on her neck area for approximately 5 to 10 seconds. His girlfriend told police they had been in a relationship for 3 years. He began physically abusing her the first year they were dating. Ms. St. Nicholas accuses Mr. Duke of strangulation as a third-degree felony and family violence as a third-degree felony. I think this is, remember, I think we were asking this the other day, why was it only a misdemeanor? I guess in this...
And then somebody responded, they have to strangle them in order for it to be...
Oh, well, here you go.
Strangulation.
Strangulation. I received more information
Yes.
about this case, and I need to talk to you offline about it.
Okay, well, I personally know Matt Duke, and he's a dick.
Okay, well,
I don't like him. I've never liked him.
I don't think they're going to use his dick in prison. I think they're going to use his bungholio. Pussy.
Yeah, I don't really care for the guy.
Well,
He has a heavy hand towards women, and that's just because he lacks any kind of support. He's not a man. He can't support you financially or emotionally.
Do we have his picture? I think he's related to the Cronsolons.
He looks like them. That's for sure. Troy, in early 2000s or 2006, 2007.
You said two. I thought you were gonna say missing his two front teeth.
No. In 2006 or 2007, I was related. I looked like I was related to them too. So
No, you never looked fraud.
yes,
No,
yes,
you did
Cello.
not, Cello, you did
I was
not.
90 pounds. Trust me.
Fraud.
Believe
Nixie
me.
now. Hey, I've had my
Yes, you have. I love showing you the pictures.
I've had my
The videos. Like, Cello, look at you here.
well, all it is these days is
Your lips love food.
let's take. Wait, hold on one second. Oh yes, we are up to our two top stories. Let's take a short break. Well, no, not short. Let's take a cigarette break before we get to our two very hefty top stories about rhymes with Splenda and 90210.
I find no issue with it because, I just got back from the state auditors conference and my jaw dropped because the average salary right now that all state auditors are paying is $50,000. I asked this question, I said, what? Straight out of college, no experience, $50,000. Most of their management team are upwards of $100,000. And
But once that $50,000 salary is
I
straight
have no
up,
qualms
wait,
with
let's-
paying that. I think it's worth it.
the additional bonus on top of the increase that you're now getting because you managed to get through the legislature are concurrence that we're going to adopt the Kerry study. And for the office with the 10 employees that you have or whatever number you have, you need 60,000 for the certification or pay, or is that's in the event somebody else gets
that's already funded. That's already funded. That's already in our, that's, if you turn to the schedule, we're talking 60,264 is the certification pay for 1, 2, 3, 6 individuals.
Okay. I have nothing further. We stand in recess until...
Mr. Speaker, if I just may say, you and I both are very passionate. And I'll miss this exchange. Thank you.
I will need an additional $70,000 just to pay for the certification pay for those on my staff that are qualified. It wasn't in my budget request because I didn't ask for it. But if this legislature is going to leave it in the budget, then I will have to comply and provide them with their certification adjustment, and that would cost the office an additional $70,000. So I just point that out. But I can't tell you how wonderful the 5 Auditor 3s that stepped up to take over the management team of the office has been, and how smoothly it has run since then. They've taken over, and I feel so bad that they can't get one. We can't reclassify 3 of them, 4 of them. I mean, because everything, all promotions and increments were suspended during the fiscal year. So I can't do any reclassifications and give them increments as minuscule as it is by comparison. But it is the Office of Public Accountability, and we have to live within the law, and we will live within the law. And if it is provided to us, we'll provide it to them. If it's not, then we'll have to tell them that it's not going to be provided.
The United States Attorney's Office is making its moves early in its case against retired police officer John Boom Matanonia. Mr. Matanonia is facing federal charges of jury tampering and has been implicated in drug trafficking. His case is the first in a series leading to racketeering charges in a massive case the federal government is building against police and public corruption related to major drug trafficking organizations. Assistant U.S. Attorney Rosetta Saniclis, who is running a secret grand jury from Hawaii, is building an airtight case. She filed a motion in Lamine today, seeking federal judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood to prohibit any wiggle room Mr. Matanonia may have at his upcoming trial. Ms. Saniclis first wants to prohibit Mr. Matanonia from calling witnesses who will testify to statements Mr. Matanonia has made that are favorable to Mr. Matanonia. In effect, the prosecution is trying to draw Mr. Matanonia to take the stand in his defense, opening him to cross-examination by the prosecution before the jury. Secondly, the prosecution wants to save everyone time by asking the judge to rule at the onset that Mr. Matanonia cannot have access to the Federal Bureau of Investigation's notes that correspond to the transcripts of wiretaps that lead to the indictment against Mr. Matanonia. Lastly, Ms. St. Nicholas wants to preclude Mr. Mantanonia's attorneys from making any mention of the time Mr. Mantanonia will face in prison in front of the jury so as not to play to the sympathies of the jury. This motion, made even before the start of pretrial motions, is an indication of the federal government's anticipation of a swift and convincing verdict of guilt based on the evidence the FBI and the U.S. Attorney have been able to sort through. Most of the media coverage of the case against Mr. Mantanonia has centered around the jury tampering charges he faces related to the federal Martinez case. However, the case has nothing to do with the actual investigation into Mr. Mantanonia's activities that led to the implication of involvement in organized drug crime. That is the bigger picture of Mr. Mantanonia's case, and one that will lead to bigger problems once prosecutors reveal the racket. The wiretaps on Mr. Mantanonia in early November last year immediately followed the impaneling of Ms. St. Nicholas's Hawaii grand jury and the arrest of Cynthia Paulino. The federal wiretaps on Jonia Mayor Jesse Blas began days after the wiretaps on Mr. Mantanonia began.
A woman arrested in November with ice, cocaine, firearms, and $510,000 in cash has been charged in federal court, and her case was immediately sealed. According to federal court information, Cynthia Leon Guerrero Paulino is facing one charge of controlled substance, sell, distribute, or dispense. Ms. Paulino was arrested following the November 2018 execution of a warrant upon her Agana Heights home, where members of the former Mandania Drug Task Force, following source leads from a raid in Manilao that resulted from a traffic stop by conservation officers. A subsequent warrant and search of her Coast 360 safe deposit box led to the discovery of $510,000 in cash. The sting led to a local case against Ms. Paulino. But that's not all. Candid previously reported that on May 17, 2019, federal judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood approved Drug Enforcement Officer Task Force agent Sean Adzuzu's application for a search warrant for information on a cell phone, phone number 6883822, related to Ms. Paulino's activities that was stored at Docomo Pacific's headquarters. The search, according to the application, was related to violations of the federal statute against the distribution of methamphetamine and the corresponding conspiracy charges, which are greater, and quite frankly, the subject of this entire thing. The search warrant states under the facts establishing probable cause for the warrant. This is going to be a lengthy explanation, or a read from the warrant itself. But one thing leads to another and leads to another, and we'll discuss that when we're done. On October 31, 2018, David Torres was arrested by the Guam Police Department for possession of a Schedule II and Schedule I controlled substance and illegal possession of a firearm. Approximately 8 ounces of suspected methamphetamine, several firearms, and $18,960 in U.S. currency were seized as a result of Torres' arrest. Torres was informed of his Miranda rights, which he waived, and agreed to speak with investigators. Torres provided information that Jeffrey Camacho and Cynthia Paulino were his source of supply for methamphetamine. Based on Torres' statement to investigators, the Guam Police Department were able to obtain local search warrants for Camacho's and Paulino's residences. On Wednesday, November 1, 2018, the DEA Guam Resident Office personnel participated in the execution of 2 local search warrants by the Guam Police Department, Mandania Drug Task Force, and GPD Special Weapons and Tactics, SWAT. On November 1, 2018, law enforcement executed a local search warrant at number 226 Luna Avenue in Agana Heights, belonging to Cynthia Paulino. As a result of the search warrant, investigators located 4.4 ounces of a crushed glass-like substance suspected to be methamphetamine, 30 grams of suspected marijuana, 14 grams of white powdery substance suspected to be cocaine, and $510,222 in U.S. currency. The crushed glass-like and white powdery substance were field tested, which yielded a presumptive positive result for methamphetamine and cocaine. The search of Camacho's residence resulted in the seizure of drug paraphernalia and a firearm, Both Paulino and Camacho were charged in the Superior Court of Guam with multiple counts of possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. Camacho was additionally charged with possession of a firearm without a Guam firearms ID and possession of an unregistered firearm. On Thursday, April 11, 2019, while at DEA GRO in the presence of Paulino's attorney Samuel Tecker, Task Force officers Azuzu and Jay Cruz conducted a proffer interview with Paulino, who provided the following information. Paulino stated she purchased an ounce of methamphetamine at a time and paid $3,200 to $4,500 per ounce. Once purchased, Paulino would break down the methamphetamine into gram or plate quantities and sell them. Paulino described plate quantities as user quantities. Paulino stated she normally sells a gram for $300 or less, depending on how many grams were being purchased. Paulino claimed to make approximately $8,000 on a good day selling methamphetamine. Investigators noted marking on packages containing methamphetamines found at Paulino's residence with DX, LA, RF, M, KF, S, and A3. Paulino stated that some customers had a preference on the methamphetamine they would purchase. Depending on their preference, Paulino would obtain the methamphetamine from corresponding bags and indicated that a few of her customers have requested and preferred the methamphetamine from packaging A3 or LA. Investigators asked Paulino what A3 or LA meant, which Paulino explained that A3 was the third order of methamphetamine supply from Agate. Paulino further explained that LA were the initials of her source of supply from Agate, Liberty Uggan. Paulino stated she initially ordered her methamphetamine from Jeffrey Camacho, who then called his source Rick Buds and paid $4,800 for an ounce. Paulino stated she facilitated her drug transactions with Camacho and Buds using her cell phone. Paulino stated herself, Camacho, and Buds would meet at Camacho's residence in Mongmong to complete the drug transaction. Paulino stated on one occasion while conducting a drug transaction with Buds at Camacho's residence, Buds was left by his ride and had asked Paulino and Camacho for a ride back home. Paulino stated that she contacted Buds directly to purchase methamphetamine. According to Paulino, she has successfully purchased methamphetamine from Buds on numerous occasions in the past. Paulino further stated that prior to the search warrant execution on her home, she texted Buds to order more methamphetamine. However, another individual responded via text message indicating he was Buds' pari. And then the thing says, pari is a Chamorro term used on Guam to identify a person who is the godparent of your child or that you are the godparent of their child. I'm just a little off the subject thing. To all the children under the age of 30, par comes from pari, which is what the federal government has just described. That's the meaning of it. So stop calling your fucking friends par, okay? It's stupid. Paulino subsequently arranged to purchase an ounce of methamphetamine with the unknown individual and was instructed to meet at a residence in Agate. Prior to meeting in Agate, Paulino was provided directions to the residence via text message, which indicated, quote, second left after the cemetery, unquote. Let's not talk about that. At the residence, Paulino met an individual who identified himself as Butterball. Butterball retrieved an ounce of methamphetamine from a white Toyota Tacoma truck that was parked at the residence. Paulino stated on a subsequent drug transaction, again at Camacho's residence, Paulino met an individual named Liberty Uggan, who was standing outside the residence and was operating the same Toyota Tacoma pickup that met Paulino and Butterball at the Agate residence. Uggan admitted to Paulino that he, Uggan, was the one who left Buds at Camacho's residence after Buds sold the ounce of methamphetamine to Paulino, as described in the previous paragraph. Based on what Uggan told Paulino, Paulino believed that Uggan is the source of supply of methamphetamine for Buds and Butterball. In the presence of Paulino's attorney, Samuel Tecker, task force officers at Zuzu and Cruz obtained a written consent to perform a digital forensic examination on Paulino's mobile device with phone number 6868947. Paulino acknowledged by signing the Guam Police Department's consent form. Task Force Officer Ozuzu conducted a digital forensic examination of Paulino's mobile device and discovered that phone number 688-3822 sent a message to Paulino containing directions to a residence in Agate. The phone number 688-3822 saved on Paulino's contact list as Malo and had multiple calls and texts to and from Paulino's cell phone, starting on October 11, 2018. On October 11, 2018, Paulino sent a text message to 688-3822, believed to be utilized by Buds, ordering an ounce of methamphetamine. On the same day, a subsequent message was sent to 688-3822 from Paulino negotiating the price for the ounce of methamphetamine, asking to pay $4,500. A response from 688-3822 indicated that $4,800 was the best price for the ounce. On October 13, 2018, Paulino again texted 688-3822, asking if the price was still the same with a response that indicated it was. Subsequent texts were sent from 688-3822 to Paulino providing directions to a residence in Agate. On October 17, 2018, 688-3822 texted Paulino verifying Paulino's number in order to save it. 688-3822 goes on to ask Paulino if Paulino had any big buyers, which Paulino replied, like what? Meaning, how much methamphetamine is being sought. Paulino subsequently responded that Paulino had already purchased methamphetamine that day. Paulino believed that Buds, Butterball, and Uggan are part of a drug trafficking organization affiliated with the criminal street gang Agate Bloodtown, and that they use multiple phones for their drug trafficking activities. Paulino believed that the phone numbers listed in her contacts under RB Blood are also burner or work phones that Buds, Butterball, and Uggan use to facilitate the sale and distribution of illegal narcotics within their drug trafficking organization. Paulino used RB Blood as the contact name due to his affiliation with ABT. Based on my training and experience, this is according to Officer Zuzu, I know that DTOs use several cell phones, burner phones, or working phones to facilitate their drug trafficking activities and to hide their identity from law enforcement. A further analysis of Paulino's phone by Task Force Officer Ozuzu revealed two phone numbers, 971-3847, 972-2844, saved under the contact name RB Blood. The numbers also sent text messages to Paulino's phone coordinating and facilitating drug transactions. Task Force Officer Ozuzu obtained subscriber and phone toll records from Docomo Pacific for phone number 688-3822. These toll records cover the time period from June 1, 2018 through April 16, 2019. That last date coinciding pretty well with a previous indictment that we read. The records revealed that 688-3822 is a prepaid number with no subscriber information. Task Force Officer Ozuzu conducted an analysis of the phone tolls between 688-3822 and found numerous phone calls and text messages sent to and from Paulino's phone 686-8947 to 688-3822, with the last contact made on October 15, 2018. Task Force Officer Ozuzu also discovered that the phone numbers listed in Paulino's contacts under RB Blood, which are 689-4956, 971-3847, 972-2844, 788-1277, 788-4145, 997-1712, and 688-3822, all communicated on different dates and times either by calling or by text to phone number 988-9577, and that all the aforementioned numbers found on Paulino's contact list is believed to be associated with ABT's drug trafficking organization. The most recent contact between 688-3822 and one of the numbers listed under RB Blood was on April 16, 2019. That's the end of that long series of paragraphs in that May 17 warrant. There are actually more paragraphs
That warrant
in that
is
warrant.
actually sealed now.
It's a sealed warrant now, yes. But
Yes.
we've had it since the time that it was not sealed, and we've kept it ever since. The United States Attorney for Guam is shielding all information on Ms. Paulino's current case by sealing it. The warrant Candid obtained from the May 17 filing is not listed in the docket for Ms. Paulino's new federal criminal case. So, connecting the dots.
Yeah.
There's stuff going down. There are some sealed cases that we don't even know what it's United States versus whoever.
There's a lot.
And there are ones in very close proximity to this case, this current case in federal court against Cynthia Paulino, and surrounding the time of the Jesse Blas indictments and the federal court case.
You mean the
filed.
investigation into Jesse Blas?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the this isn't the first time that we've discussed this. We actually read this same information sometime in May.
I remember.
And we stopped exactly where we're stopping today in the reading of that warrant. Well, I'm wondering, like, as I was reading that, all those numbers, right? I was wondering how many people were answering the numbers in their phone.
I did it. I did it.
I did too. I was like, do I recall these people?
Hey, are any of this my friends? Oh, shit.
But this is a big deal. And one of the things, the Boom Manzanonia story that Johnny was reading, very much related to this case. And there's no relationship to the actual
crimes.
Yeah, the crimes that are expressed in both the Boom Manzanonia case and then in this warrant from May 17. But it's all part of the same massive public and police corruption investigation that the FBI is leading and for which there is a Hawaii grand jury. And the media has mainly been reporting in the Boom Manzanonia case.
The jury tampering. Yeah.
But that's not the big deal in that case.
Right.
It's the conspiracy on drug trafficking, and how it's how Mr. Manzanonia used the color of his authority
to do certain
connections and all that stuff to do. Yeah, exactly. And so, hi.
What?
What'd you say?
I don't know. I'm trying to ignore her right
Why?
now.
She's too cute to ignore. So, people love these. They're not even errors. They're just, it was part of our charm.
How do you feel about all of this?
These are scary times.
What does it say? I can't see.
It says mom.
Mom what? What does it say on top of it?
I don't know. She keeps
Stop
bouncing.
moving. Move up.
She wants your computer. We should have just guessed that to begin with. The boss wants the computer. For Roblox or whatever. I don't know.
That is the devil. Roblox is the devil.
Well, yeah, your kids play Roblox, don't get them started. It's like getting a woman hooked on Chanel. That's...
All I ever hear is, Mom, can we stop by the mall to buy some Robux? I'm like, okay, we're going to go to the mall and buy your Roblox. Ha, 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 Mom, it's not Roblox, it's Robux.
Oh, it's not Roblox?
It's Roblox is the game, but whenever you buy the card, it's called Robux.
Smart fucking producers or whatever they're called. So how I feel about this massive thing that's going down is, first of all, I feel bad for those who will have to suffer the consequences, but I feel good for Guam.
I personally think that we all have to wake up one day, whether it takes the law or takes losing a loved one or you personally almost losing your life because of it, right? I just think that if something happens to you, your back is against the wall and you make that decision. Now, however you handle that, however your attorney handles that, you have to live with your decision. You as a person.
And there are people, we've discussed this before, there are people, everyone has their hustle, as our friend says, right? And some people go about that hustle in what would be considered an honorable way on the streets. But when you start involving the government, when those entrusted
Right.
with the people's trust.
It's a whole different ball game, you know?
Corruption.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a whole different playing field.
Because you, as a person who sells drugs, uses drugs, you are an adult, and you know the consequences.
And don't mire everyone else in it.
Right.
You know? And so, again, you know, whenever I don't wish jail on almost everyone.
Because no, but I don't like with you and I. Our relationship, I don't think would have ended up this way if we didn't get in trouble around the same time.
Yeah.
I think it would have ended up way different, you know? And I'm not mad that I got in trouble. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not mad at the person who should have taken the hit when because it wasn't mine, you know? I'm not mad. I'm actually grateful because it brought me to where I am today.
Me too. But Cello,
Just stay the fuck away from me.
Cello, this is way different ball game we're talking about here. This is very different.
Yes.
And the feds see it as such. This is not simply a drug investigation.
Right.
This FBI investigation began as a corruption investigation, and the involvement of drug trafficking and to what they're calling a major drug trafficking organization that has resulted from that corruption. This is a RICO case.
This is a double-edged sword.
It's big, and so
yeah.
We hope we're not going to be the ones to actually come out and say the names.
Right.
We figure you guys can, you know, connect the dots, put it together on your own. Watch 90210, maybe a name might pop up. Or the First Wives Club, maybe like Bette Midler's character. But it's all there, right in front of us. And we're not haters. We're just reporting the news. We love you, Guam.
Good night.